Hey guys, thanks so much for watching my video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So in this video that you're watching of a time-lapse and just various shots of a watercolor painting that I had been starting over the last couple days, I thought it would be great just to kind of talk about art, and not necessarily like this be an instructional video, but more of like an encouraging video to current artists, aspiring artists, artists that maybe have been in a little bit of a rut. I thought it would be kind of cool just to share maybe just some of the ways that I have pushed through those very difficult times and hitting a wall of creativity, or just even picking up the pencil or the paintbrush in general. I think one of the most important things to keep in mind or to remember as an artist, regardless of where you're at in your skill level or accomplishments, is the reason why you do what you do and why you love doing art. It's one of the things that I always have to come back to when I get into those ruts, those creative ruts where I feel like I just can't, make anything. And even not only that, but even in this current world that we're in, where it's all about not just producing art or something creative for the sake of creativity, but also to do it to earn a living and to earn, notoriety in the public eye. It's really important to come back to the basics of why we do art, and it's for the love of it. I often have to remind myself of that little boy that would draw in his room before there was, a thing called social media, before there was, hashtags and social media apps and YouTube channels. There was just a little boy in his room or in the living room that would color and that would draw, and that just loved to truly do it. And my mom is someone that would often reminisce and talk about when I was a kid and seeing me just in that zone of creating art. And I think a lot of times as we get older, with whatever professions we do, or specifically those careers that we have that we love, we can forget why we do what we do, what got us into that thing in the first place. And that's where it kind of begins. It's not so much about, what techniques do you use and how do you draw this. First, gain the love for what you do. If that has been the bedrock and the foundation of why you do art and why you do a lot of things that you do, it won't matter when you hit those ruts, when you hit those walls of a lack of creativity. When it comes to anything that I create, I just ultimately have to let go of anything other than just doing it for the fun of it. And no matter how many years I've been doing this, I have to constantly remind myself of that. There's a beauty and a simplicity in art, in creating. At least there should be. And I think this is why I've been more drawn my entire life to, abstract and surreal. I do believe that the fundamentals of art are super important, because I think from there you can branch out and break rules. But, it's so important to understand that art is such a subjective talent or skill set that, while I will admit that it helps to have some form of structure and fundamental foundation, just create. Just get out a piece of paper and draw. Just get out a piece of paper and paint, or make music or whatever it is. Just, kind of let go of trying to be so, controlling over the process. And I am speaking on something that I struggle with even after 30-something years of doing art. I have not figured it out, and I am constantly in my head. I think that's kind of the curse of being an artist, And I think it's common for everybody, you know. We do the grass is greener thing. We do the compare and contrast. We look at others, and it's one thing to get inspiration from another artist, but it's a totally different thing to be living in the sense of value based on what others are doing and what you're not doing. This is something that for me personally even ties into my faith and my walk with Christ, where there's a standard, the standard being the Word of God and what the model that Christ has laid out, and yet we are to learn from one another. I'm to learn from other Christians, but oftentimes I find myself comparing and contrasting to what others are or not doing. And there's a balance to that, but it's not the primary focus of how I'm supposed to be living my Christian life. And so the same is to be said about art. It's great to be encouraged and inspired by other artists, but it's a totally different thing to live by their value system, in the sense of like, not value system, just to be like, well, I don't do what they do, or I don't paint my trees that way, and I don't draw my faces that way, so I'm not doing it right. And again, the foundations and the fundamentals are there for a reason, and they're beneficial, and I would say that you do need those. But beyond that, from there, you should be able to branch out and find why you love to do art. And so, yeah, we just got to get out of our heads when it comes to, doing art and a lot of things in life, I think. It's so funny to kind of figure out and learn things later in life. I'm 40 years old now, and there's so much time that I've wasted as an artist, just in general. Let's just talk about art. Being in my head and second guessing, my creativity. Art is a gift that God has given me, and I believe everyone, and anybody that does it. And I've wasted so much time. I've wasted so much of that gift. And that's not measured by, producing a product. That's not measured by having a YouTube channel or having an Instagram following. I mean, literally, like, wasting it in the sense where I didn't, show my art, or I didn't, create enough or venture into, schooling the way that I could have, and various other ways to just kind of further what I do as an artist. Yeah, it's so important to not waste the gifts that you've been given. And to, again, I can't stress it enough, stop living in your head when it comes to doing so many things in life, and particularly art. So I think that would be my encouragement to anybody who watches this video and is listening, is tutorials and stuff like that will definitely come down the road on this channel, but the biggest piece of advice is I would give you is to get out of your head and pick up the pencil, pick up the paint brush, and just make something. Just do it. Just make something. Your talent, your abilities, what you have, it's a gift, and it's something that you shouldn't waste, and you should share with other people. It truly is. Art is such a beautiful and amazing thing, how it affects us, and we can look at something and just be affected by it in ways that it's going to be different for the next person. And so when you sit on that and you stay stuck in your head, and then you don't do something with it, you're holding back something that could really benefit another person. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted this video to be kind of something that would be an encouragement to all of you as artists. I would love to hear your feedback, so if you would drop a comment and maybe talk about how art has helped you, how it's been a blessing for you, and what you've done to get out of your periods of being stuck as an artist. But thank you again for watching this video. Please, as always, like, share, and subscribe. It truly would mean the world to me, and I will see you guys again on the next video. Thanks again.